Hello everyone. This video tutorial will go over the basic features of School Messenger, which is also called Skylert. Basically a review of the training sessions that we had in the past. I just wanted to send it out for everyone in case they got into a jam. Remember that we sent out the 2-page cheat sheet guide that was sent by Sam DeGroff and myself earlier in the summer. School Messenger is a pretty easy site to use, just like Alert Now was in the past. What I'm going to do is I'm going to go out to the Skylert website. I have mine bookmarked here in my bookmark bar in a folder of sites that I use frequently. So I'm going to go into Skylert. If you don't have that link, just go back to your email and click on the link that we provided. When I get in Skylert, it's a pretty simple program. For those of you that are in it for the first time, you need to make sure you go up to the account link in the top right hand corner and verify that all your information is correct. This is also the location that you would change your password in the future if for any reason you would have a need to do so. A couple things in here that I think are important. Number one, you need to make sure that your email is accurate, and you need to make sure that your default call time is set. You can change this for every single communication that you send. However, it's a good idea to have a default set that's a reasonable time, just in the event that you would forget to change it when you're busy and setting out your communications. So I set mine to 6:30. The default end time is 8 o'clock. That does not mean that it will take an hour and a half to make these calls. It just simply means that in the 3 call attempts that they make, if this number was let's say 7, if it does not have all 7 attempts made by 8 p.m., it will stop and it will cease to continue to try to communicate with them. Very infrequently that would ever be the case. A call attempt is they try to get through to a number and the call is bounced back for whatever reason. The network could be busy. For some reason, the person's not accepting phone calls. If it gets a voicemail, that call attempt would be successful and it would stop there. So you don't really need to worry about the call attempts. I think 3 is a fine number for that. Days to run, you want to make sure that's set to 1. You want to set your communication out one time, one day, not multiple days. Your personal caller ID, you want to make sure is the school district's number. Do not put your cell phone number in here. You do not want people calling you on your cell phone. Then I'm just going to go ahead and say done. Okay, now I'm in my broadcast area, and I'm going to show you how to do 2 different types of broadcast. The first one is just a simple broadcast that I'm going to send out to my students of, let's say, the 8th grade class. So I'm going to create a new broadcast. I'm going to say, hello, 11th grade students. So I'll say, hello, 11th grade students, and my type is general. General means that the priority of this message is normal. There's no urgency to send this message out, meaning that it's going to go into the call center, and as the calls are received, they'll go out in the exact same order. So if my call is the 5th one to come in, it'll be the 5th one to be sent out. Most of your communications will be general. Occasionally, you will have a school or non-school hours emergency. Something maybe that would close the building down for the next day would be a non-school emergency. A school hours emergency clearly would be something that takes place during the hours of the school day that you need to communicate immediately. These phone calls, both, will jump to the very top of the list. So if you have 15 calls ahead of you, yours will jump right to call number 1 and immediately will be placed. Use these only in emergency situations, please. Dr. Ruth and myself are working on creating some other types of phone calls that have different priority level settings. So if you have any feedback regarding different types of calls that would need to be sent out, just let me know and we'll make sure we get those added. The other thing about the different types of calls that's important to note, if it's a general call, it will only call the primary contact phone. Meaning that if you in your primary contact as a parent have 2 numbers listed, it will only call those 2 numbers. If you have 1 number listed through Family Access, it will only call the 1 number. And we'll be sending out some communication to parents here shortly that tells them how to log in to Family Access to change that information. Remember, the important thing or the beauty of Skylert School Messenger is that it completely syncs with our HR system for our faculty and our Skyward Family Access system for our parents, whereas the old program did not. So any information that's changed will automatically be added to our communication system, which hopefully will prevent errors in the future. Okay, I have that set. I'm now going to add message recipients. Pretty simple. I have a couple different options here. The one that we're going to talk about right now is the custom rules. Custom rules, you have one option, select a field, and you can select a field based on any of these options here. Most of you will only have 1 school listed inside of the program. I have more than 1 school just because I'm at the district level. So I will go in just to make sure that I identified. I said I was going to do 11th grade students. So I need to grab senior high school and I'm going to say save. I'm going to have to add a second rule. Again, most of you will only go down to the grade that you want to communicate with or just your school. If I would stop here, all 2,225 people who are associated with the Wilson High School would receive this message, and that is not what I want. So I'm going to jump in here. I'm going to add another rule, and I want this to be contact type. So essentially, I'm just saying I want school, and I also want someone who is in student or in staff. So if I only wanted to contact our teachers, I would say staff, and you're going to see we have 312 staff members. I'm going to eliminate that. I'm going to add a different rule. This time I'm going to say grade, and I'm going to say in grade 11 because that's what my original request was to do. I go back up and hit save. You have to make sure you click that save button before you click add recipients. This number should reflect the number that you believe is in that grade. So when I make the change, you'll see I have 454 students. It's also a quick way for you to determine how many kids are in each one of your grades in each respective building. You could do that through a data miner report in Skylert, but this is a much faster way. So here we go. Let's review what we have. We have school is senior high school. Grade student is in grade 11. So we have 454 students. So I'm going to say OK. Something I also like to do is I like to go into this add me area, and I like to make sure that my information is accurate. I'm going to actually add in my cell phone because I want to make sure that the phone message that the parents receive is the same message that I receive. This allows me to verify it. For those of you a little bit nervous the first time, you could go ahead and just add yours and not add, click add me here to pull it down from the list. This pencil, I'm sorry, just edits my contact information. Add me pulls it down. So if you're not comfortable with sending it your first time, maybe just send it to yourself and have a count of 1 and disable using the X the grade 11 or whichever grade you're communicating with. That way you can verify the message to yourself and then come back in and push it out to the rest of the group. For me to continue here, I'm actually going to disable the grade 11 because I do not want to communicate with them. And this is just a test, so I'm going to delete it. You'll see now it's going to contact with me. There's my phone number, there's my email address, and there is my count. I'm going to say continue. And I have choices. Do I want to send a phone message or an email message? Those are our only two choices for now. Please do not do text messages quite yet or social media. We will communicate these two features out a little bit later. So on my phone message, the one major difference here between this program and the program that we used in the past is that they call us versus us calling into them. So I'm going to add 670-0180. You can add extensions, which is really nice if I put my extension in correctly. So I'll add the extension, and then I'll click call now to record. What's going to happen is it's going to actually place a phone call to my extension. Typically takes about 15 seconds. I'm not sure if you're going to hear the phone call come through or not on my end, but I am going to try and simulate it. This part down below I did not put in. Oh, there comes the phone call. So I'm going to go ahead and pick it up. You will see that it's going to list 670-0180 as the phone call coming in, and it will choose someone who was identified with that number. Mine is Jeremy Platchik. So I'm going to pick up the phone, do a test message. When you pick up the phone, you're going to have to press 1. It's going to take you through the prompt. It's going to tell you to begin speaking, and you'll record your test message. Hi, this is Chris. This is just a test message. You just simply follow the prompts. It's going to ask you to play your message back to listen to, and then you'll press 1 to save the message. Once it's saved, you can see that my screen just flickered and changed. It said that my recording is now in right here. It's all ready to go. You could use the scratch pad, which I'm sure many of you will do, to actually type out what you're going to talk about in your message. It's a good practice to get into because you can also copy that message and put it into email. I did not because it's just simply a test. So I'm going to scroll down and I'm going to say save phone message. The phone message is saved. It says now add one of the following messages to your broadcast. So now I can come in if I wanted and also do an email, which I will do. I'm just going to simply say test from me, from my email account. Here's my subject. I could come in and change it. It's a full WYSIWYG editor down here. There is spell checker. You can change your fonts. When you copy and paste this from an email that you composed in Outlook, you will have to do a little bit of reformatting. So just be aware of that. So I'm ready to go. I have my email created. I'm going to send an email and a phone call in this case. You could, again, opt just to do the phone call. I'm going to say save email message and continue. It's going to give me one review situation or opportunity here. Subject, type of broadcast is general. I'm going to send it to one person. That one person is me. I want to email a report of the job upon completion to me. It's going to give me a summary of who received my message. And I'm going to skip duplicate email and phone recipients. I do not want families that have the phone number listed multiple times to get multiple phone calls. So please make sure that is checked. If you want to save the message content, you could. It's probably a good practice to get into as well, just so you always have it so you can go back in future years and go back and see exactly what you communicated. Two options here. You can schedule to send later or you can send it now. I'm going to go ahead and schedule to send later just because I think that's what most of you will probably end up doing. Right now, you're going to see my default times are set, 6:30 p.m., end time 8 p.m. These are rubber band-like handles. You can pull them or you can change the times down there. I'm going to go ahead and say submit scheduled message. It says success. Your broadcast, blah, 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 has been sent. You may track the status on the dashboard. Great. I will go back in and do that later on. So when I get into my dashboard, it says on my deck, this is what's scheduled to go out. There's going to be one recipient, and it's scheduled to go out on this day. Pretty simple system to use. There will be some more communication coming out later on regarding some more advanced list features. So if you're interested in setting up more specific lists other than just basic staff broadcasts and student broadcasts, stay tuned for that. Sam's working on a better communication that clarifies that for some more of the advanced users. If you have any questions regarding the system, please give me a call or call Sam DeGroff. All right, thanks a lot. Hopefully this makes sense and it helped you out.